Hello one and all, I hope you've been enjoying Disney's latest animated feature, Moana. For the most part, the film is pretty good. Nice characters, gorgeous visuals, and a singing crab to boot. The film is not without faults though, including a huge one that I'd like to talk about today. It all has to do with this guy. The film's been out for a while now, so I think it's a bit safe to swim into these uncharted waters, but just to be sure, there will be immense spoilers from here on in.
What's a demigod gotta do?
So for starters, the whole goal of Moana is to return the heart of Te Fiti, who is basically the Mother Earth of this world because Maui stole it in the first place. It's explained that he did this to please the humans and stroke his ego, but it makes you question his intentions and you start to wonder if he's actually one of the film's antagonists. Throughout the movie, Maui has a very Gaston-esque personality. He's full of himself, thinks everyone should marvel at his every whim, and shows very little concern towards Moana's well-being. Okay, well that's been a very common trope with Disney for a while now. The two start out hating each other, but eventually a bond grows and they realize how much they mean to each other. Well, almost. For starters, Maui casually likes to jeopardize Moana's life on numerous occasions. Sure, it's played for laughs, but can we address that he's intentionally trying to kill her? First he locks her in a cave, then he tosses her in the ocean. In fact, he doesn't know the ocean is her friend and will continue to spit her out. He doesn't care if she knows how to swim. She definitely could have died here. Okay, this is all nitpicking, and I'll admit it adds to what makes Maui's character so unique. But then he does this one particular thing that for me personally is a step too far. Near the climax of the film when Maui and Moana take on Te Kā, the two have a little spat. Maui wants to abort the mission, but Moana insists that she knows the way to get past Te Kā. Maui ends up deflecting a shot from the lava monster, which sends the group flying practically halfway across the ocean. Maui then shows Moana that his hook is severely damaged and it cannot risk another strike. He gets very pissy at Moana and tears her down before flying off and leaving Moana alone to question her own purpose. This fit comes out as if from nowhere, and it's uncalled for to be honest, because before this he even went so far as to compliment her and says, "I think the ocean chose right." Then like 2 minutes later he just takes it all back like a total jerk. So now that she's been ditched, Moana proceeds to snap at the ocean itself, surrenders the stone to the ocean, crying while she does it mind you, and is about to give up on the entire mission. It's here when her grandmother comes to remind her of her purpose, and we have an absolutely beautiful moment, but at what cost? When Moana goes off to take on Te Kā herself without Maui's help, one would presume this is to show her independence, and for a studio who has been constantly throwing these strong independent female leads at us lately, this would be the direction that would make the most sense. But what happens? Maui returns anyways to save the day, ends up breaking his hook anyways during the fight, but Moana soon discovers that, oh wait, Te Kā is not a monster, she is actually Te Fiti. So Moana returns the stone without Maui, mind you, meaning she could have easily done this herself, restores Te Fiti, and Maui, I kid you not, gets his hook back. This broke me. Why should Maui get a new hook after all he did? We didn't see Maui's perspective after he stormed off from his little tantrum, so it's confusing as to why he came back in the first place. And if the creators were trying to have Maui risk his powers to save Moana, they retcon any attempt of him learning his lesson by giving him another hook. Imagine how much better of a character arc it would have been if he learned he didn't need it to be great. But no, the writers really liked Maui, and they wanted him to come back. They wanted him to have his precious hook. On top of that, there's literally nothing preventing him from stealing the stone again should he get bored in the future. There's no apology to Moana, there's no explanation, it's almost like the film itself forgot it actually happened. In fact, cut out the part where Maui's hook gets damaged and he cries the blues while emotionally destroying Moana, and the final battle just flows much nicer. The only problem is you lose that nice scene with the grandmother, but the scene with the grandmother feels more like an afterthought. It literally stops the motion picture to send Moana flying back from the battle so they can have this scene, then the battle continues and the outcome is literally the same. Maui's hook breaks, Te Kā turns out to be Te Fiti, and Maui gets a new hook, only this time it would feel warranted, because it feels like an actual sacrifice, without all the pointless whining that just makes the film drag. It also highlights a nice point, that Maui is who he is, with or without the hook, which is a nice moral to teach children. But no, we get this instead. A paint-by-numbers moment that just seemed to force a scene where everyone feels betrayed. It took me completely out of the movie, and I could not bring myself to like Maui after that happened. Don't get me wrong, I loved the scene with the grandmother, but I feel it did more harm than good. Moana didn't need a morale boost because at that point of the story, Maui was already starting to admire her and look up to her as the chosen one. The only reason Moana needed that talk from the grandmother in the first place is because Maui destroys her self-esteem and leaves her for dead. Because of this, it destroyed any likability I had for Maui, and this distaste was heightened when he was rewarded for being a selfish prick. So thanks, Maui, for souring the experience.
You're welcome.
No, forget it. Oh, and for the record, if the ocean can transport Moana, then why couldn't it just zip her past Taka? Taka couldn't touch the water anyway, so that seems like a plausible option. To hell with boats, let's master this water bending. Katara would be pissed. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't worry, it's okay if you still like the movie. I plan on making quite a few more videos like this throughout 2017, so if you want to see more, just let me know in the comments below. Take care now.